What's going? Are we live? Are we live? I think we're live. Where was the intro? I mean, dude, it's live right now. We're live. This is the Freezer Podcast live.
Green Bay is a small town, only 100,000 people. Those 100,000 people may be different in many ways, but there's one thing that brings them all together: the Green Bay Packers. In Titletown, the blue-collar city only knows hard work, tailgating, championships, but more importantly, they know family.
We have a saying in this town: faith, family, and the Green Bay Packers are all that you need. Sanjay and I grew up in Green Bay. You could say that we are Green Bay, or even better, the voices of Green Bay. We bring a local feel of Packer fandom to a worldwide audience.
Friendship, family, and football.
Ladies and gentlemen,
This is the Freezer Podcast.
We are back. This is the Freezer Podcast, where we bring you a local field Packer fan to a worldwide audience. I am Sanjay, and alongside me, like always, is Matt. We are waiting on Fred. I'm sure he'll be here any minute, but it's just Matt and I right now. But another loss on the books, Matt. But I feel like I've never felt so good about a loss in a long time, because we got to see a lot of different things on Sunday night, and it felt like the heart was there for the most part, at least on one side of the ball. And we got to see some, potential in a quarterback. So we'll talk about Hurts, we'll talk about Rodgers, and we'll talk about Jordan. We'll kind of get everything kind of out there, because a lot happened in this game, and I feel like it was a roller coaster of emotions all Sunday night, right? And I was just like, man, I don't know where do I want to root for us to lose, because I'm like, at this point, the draft pick looks really nice to have that top 5 pick, or, obviously a top 10 pick, whatever it is. But then you're like, man, if we beat this team, we still could be in the hunt. You never know. And then we make a statement like we can beat the Cowboys and the Eagles, but we can't beat anybody else. But it didn't happen that way. We did lose. But let's start with Jalen Hurts. We'll get to the Packers first, but we'll talk about what hurts the most, and that's Jalen Hurts. Once again, a professional team breaks a record with the Green Bay Packers beating the opponent, and the guy ran rampant on Sunday night. Matt, I think, what did he end up with? 135, 45? I mean, I can't
100 of which came in the first quarter.
Right, 100 obviously came in the first quarter, which is in and of itself the most embarrassing thing that I could probably see on a defensive stat line. And it almost felt like we didn't even prepare for this guy. Granted, I know there's not a lot there's a lot of injuries on the defense, but still you had a core guy for the most part on each level, and yet you still let this guy run rampant. And Matt, your thoughts?
Well, I mean, first of all, disappointing to lose, but I have to say that I've accepted the reality of this team this year, and I've accepted their fate, which is not going to the playoffs. So these losses, as they stacked up, have hurt less and less when you just kind of go into it with zero expectations and kind of expecting them to lose. That said, you kind of opened the show talking about how they did show some heart. They stuck in the game. They got ran over. They gave up 360 some odd yards running on the ground, but they hung in the game, and they made it entertaining. I mean, I think we all thought, oh boy, here we go in the first quarter when it was 13-0. Thankfully, they missed a field PAT, but it kind of looked like here we go again. I mean, we had them in a 3-and-out potential in that very first drive, and then Jalen Hurts goes for 20 some yards and gets the first down. And right there, I'm like, oh boy, here's the team that showed up. They're not going to get off the field in the third down. And that was a theme throughout the entire night. I don't know how many 3rd and 5, 10s, 15s, whatever it was. You just never felt like they were going to get off the field, and they really didn't. But Jalen Hurts, man, I mean, I'm really impressed with him, dude. I mean, I haven't really got to watch a lot of him. I haven't watched a lot of Philly games from front to back. Typically when they're playing, the Packers are playing, so I'm just catching highlights. but very, very impressed with his ability to run the ball. Of course, he's the threat, but he can drop the ball in and throw some dimes out there. And I think that, Philly's got a good one, man, and they look like geniuses for rolling the dice on him and bringing him in. But the Packers, man, defensively, just an embarrassing effort. I mean, no heart. I know we talked about the team having heart and sticking in it, but it's like all the missed tackles. What LaFleur say, they had 20 missed tackles. I mean, it's just like we can all cry and piss and moan about Joe Barry and coaching and scheme, this and that, but also we do need to go, hey, they have to tackle. I mean, there's a lot of these drives that would have ended with someone just making a routine open field tackle. I mean, the one, again, I just called up before was where Quay Walker had him dead to rights for maybe a no-yard gain or 1 yard gain. Either way, it was going to be a punt, and he whiffs. It's just this fundamental discipline, basic stuff that's continuously getting wrong, and that is why they're a 4-1 football team, and that's why they're going to have a top 10 pick unless they screwed up in the next couple of weeks.
The story was the rushing, and how fitting was it to have the last play when you needed to stop them on third down to potentially get the ball back, into Jordan Love's hands to maybe get this miraculous comeback. And what happens? We can't stop them on third down. It was basically the telling tale for the whole night. You couldn't stop them. I don't know why they even threw the ball. Honestly, they didn't need to. I feel like we've been in this situation many times with this Packers defense, whether it's Joe Barry, if it's Dom Capers, if it's Mike Pettin, everybody runs rampant. And it's also these running quarterbacks where you're like, it's almost like, yes, you could maybe keep a QB spy, which I did see Quay Walker. I did see sometimes, what's the other guy's name? The darling of preseason, number 55. I always forget his name, so I'm sure someone can say it. But either way, I did see spies out there, but at the same time, I was like, what is going on here? Like we still let this guy, like he did, rush for over 100 yards, but
157.
And it almost felt like it was crucial downs too, third downs, right? Like
third downs, man.
Whatever they wanted to do, they did a QB like designed run, and I'm like, are you actually kidding me? No, not Kingsley and Abare, the middle linebacker, the one that kind of came up and
they just signed him. I forget his name.
No. I know who you're talking about. That Hollins guy that actually ended up having. But no, there was the middle linebacker that took over Ty Summers. They cut Ty Summers and they kept him. But not Barnes either. But
you're talking about McDuffie.
McDuffie, thank you.
McDuffie. Yeah, I'm sorry.
McDuffie. Yeah, exactly 58. Thank you. So it just felt like it was just not, in the game plan to figure out that Hurts was going to be able to run all over them. And that to me is exactly the reason why, I feel like I always say that I'm not the, don't fire a guy in the season, but I feel like I always do say fire the guy because I'm always so fed up because I just see, the same bull crap over and over again. There's no adjustments. There's no change in the philosophy. There's no, oh, shoot, you're right. I did not realize we weren't playing well, because then Matt LaFleur defends his own guys, his own staff. But, I'm seeing this and I'm like, what are you seeing out there? Because I'm not seeing a team that's ready to be playing professional football on defense, at least. Sorry. I see a team that's, I don't know if they're giving up, because I don't think that's it. But at the same time, too, I just feel like there's no emotion. There's not, I feel like when a team plays for a coach, and I'm talking about Joe Barry. I feel like if the defense really felt like they love the guy and they love what he's doing, they would be flying all over the place. And I just don't see that. Do you?
I don't either. I've never, maybe early on last year, I guess maybe kind of mid-year, but this year I've never felt it, even from the beginning of the season and preseason. It just felt like they kind of were going through the motions. There's been a lack of energy, a lack of enthusiasm, So I definitely feel that, Sanjay, and I think that there's something to it, and I've wondered about it too. Like, do you move on from him mid-season? I mean, is there a benefit there? Is what he's preaching, what he's teaching, not working? What is it? I don't know. I think either way, at the end of end of the season, that they have to move on from him. Whether they do or not, I don't know, because the Packers can be stubborn. But it's like, I don't know how you can continuously roll out a defense like this with the amount of draft picks and money you've sunk into it, and just get rolled over every single week. I don't understand it. So something's got to change there. You know, they got to switch something up for this last month. You're not going to the playoffs. You can sit up in front of the podium with this happy talk about, well, we're not mathematically eliminated, and if we just win this game, we can get healthy and stuff happens. Like, no, it's not going to happen. And the sooner you realize that, the better, because you guys got to get a jump on 2023 now. Get going.
I also want to just point out too, like, I know someone mentioned fire the whole staff. There's a part of me that says fire Joe Barry and give Jerry Gray the, you know,
give him a shot.
I do feel like this guy needs a chance as like an interim, coach or coordinator. Sorry, let him see what he has. The cornerbacks have never been the problem. I think we've had a Darnell Savage problem. I do think, and a lot of people were asking me this on Sunday night, and maybe it was our group chat. Amos was not playing, I felt like, up to his standard. I feel like
he's had it down here too.
He felt like he looked like he was lethargic. He had no energy. Maybe he was sick. I don't know. He just did not look good, and I've not seen that from him in this. I don't think I've seen a drop in play this year from him. I feel like he's always been steady Eddie, for the most part in his play. He's not wowing you anywhere other than just being at the right place, for the most part. He's always
that's kind of his MO. He's just reliable.
Yeah, he's
and
not
when
going to flash you with stats, but it was a really I don't know if it was bad game, but it was definitely a very, disappointing game from him. And I hope maybe that was just maybe it was just an off night for him. But the secondary in general, I think Jerry Gray has always had a pretty good unit through a long tumultuous. He's been here for a long time. Like, he's been here through Pettin, and now obviously Dom Capers. So, like, he's had, the best corners, and he's had, some pretty, questionable ones, and he's somehow still figured out how to, like, keep things, within reason. And he's doing it without a guy in Eric Stokes now. And obviously Rasul Douglas has, in my opinion, taken a step back. I knew there would be a regression. I knew we weren't going to get pick sixes all the time, but I do feel like there has been a lot more, decline in his play. I hope, this is just a emotions thing. Like, everybody's just like, man, we're just fed up with the system. We don't really believe in it. And, I would like to think you're getting paid millions of dollars, that it wouldn't affect your play. But at the same time, when you don't, really believe in something, maybe you're just gonna not, look good out there. I really don't know. I don't know how that all works in the grand scheme of things.
Some would say Jimmy Leonard should come on over to or coming up to Green Bay.
That is the funny thing. I was trying to tweet it out in the sense of like, hey, I don't know what Jim Leonard's situation is now with Luke Fickell being in the, in as head coach, but apparently I just saw too that Luke had talked to him. So there is a potential that he might just stay. But at the same time, too, yeah, I mean, I don't know. That was Matt LaFleur's first choice, I've heard, right? I think that's what Tom Silverstein
supposedly
reported, that it was probably going to be his first choice. I don't know if that's the right answer either. I really don't. Like, a college defensive coordinator comes in the NFL. Does he know?
How about what I thought about is this, like, why don't we look to teams who consistently produce really good defenses? I think about teams like the Niners. It feels like every guy that's a defensive coordinator for them is a rock star. Like, now it's DeMeco Ryans, and they're doing great. The Baltimore Ravens, like, they've always had nice defenses. Like, what are those teams doing? What are the guys they're hiring? What are the philosophies? How are their practices? Like, I don't know, maybe tap into some of that and go outside of the organization. And not my worst fear is that they just promote from within and they don't go from outside, which is what the Badgers did finally.
Yeah, I'm not saying I want Jim Leonard. I'm not saying I want Jim Leonard, and I'm not saying Jerry Gray's the answer either, Todd. I've just said, like, at this point, you could literally bring, a Baywatch babe, and I would just be happy with it. Like, I hate that we're always in this situation. Like, we get a new guy, we get this hype and this hope, I remember when we first signed Joe Barry, it was like, this guy's a linebacker guy. Like, he's going to coach up linebackers. He's really good at it. And,
the hire was controversial the whole time. I mean, I think a lot of us, probably me included, were just like, talking ourselves into it. He was the defensive coordinator for some unimpressive units. Yeah, he was associated with some nice Rams units, but I don't think like he had this robust resume. They're like, oh, this guy's going to this guy's going to get the job done. I think we were willing to see, and for a while last year they looked good, but just the overall collapse this year of everything from the secondary right on down to the defensive line, like the lack of adjustments, like this, the players generally just have a malaise to them. The whole thing seems pretty rotten right now, and I got to think that they got to do something pretty drastic to shake it up for next year.
Yeah, I don't hate Vic Fangio either, because I know there was a lot of I remember when he was first looking for jobs, I was like, man, maybe you'd even hire him as a coach. But I first off, I'm gonna say this too. This is a Barry thing. Like, this is not a Jerry Gray issue. This is a Joe Barry issue where he's telling these guys, like, this is how we're gonna run our defense. Hey, we're gonna play more zone, we're gonna play off. But I don't have this hatred towards Jerry Gray like Todd has or all these other people have. I think he's been fine. But
he's a well-respected guy. He's a veteran coach. I think if you gave him interim duties, it's just because, well, he knows what he's doing. Guys respect him. His unit, has not performed very well this year, but they have in the past. They're not going to coach every guy to success. You're not, for every Kevin King, you got a Jair or a Stokes. I know he has had a bad year, but I just they're not gonna fire Barry. They're gonna do it to the offseason. I don't think that they're into that midseason stuff with LaFleur.
I just want to answer this real quick because we'll get to the quarterbacks in a second here, but I don't think it's been a train wreck. I felt like last year was a train wreck. I think last year was rock bottom. You literally lost a game because of your special teams. That was a train wreck. I feel like we've actually kind of figured a little bit more. I mean, we have one block punt, don't we? We have one this year?
And we got a lot of fumbles from Mari.
Well, that's an Amari problem. That's not
right, but they let him out there.
I mean, Nixon, other than maybe one blemish where he took the ball out, fumbled, and then we were stuck on the 5 or 10. He's actually been a pretty nice spark, honestly.
I think the special teams, like you said, was rock bottom nightmarish last year.
And we got a punter. I'm sorry.
Can't get any worse. Yeah,
he brought a punter that he's had.
Realistically, the special teams needs two seasons to overcome how bad they were. They had nowhere to go but up. They're better this year, but they still have a lot of improvement to do. But they're definitely not as bad as they were last year. Last year they were a joke.
Yeah, I don't know if I agree with that one, but it's okay. We'll talk about Mr. Aaron Charles Rodgers himself. Whew. This is a deep one because, as you guys all know, and I'm gonna and I'm sure Fred would say the same, and you too. No matter what, this guy has made Packer football, relevant still. Just like Favre did in his time, and we've, for you, Matt, I know you fell in love with the game because of Brett Favre. I fell in love with it in the same sense too, and I was just I was still kind of figuring out what football was, and I wasn't. My parents, they watched the games, but they told me to watch this Brett Favre guy, and he was obviously fun to watch. But then Rodgers really made me love the game itself. I think Brett Favre really made me love the Packers, which was good. But Aaron Rodgers, the way he has, kind of changed his. I mean, he hasn't changed the game a lot, but his quarterback play has changed a lot of quarterback play because obviously his scrambling ability, his ability to obviously, not throw as many picks, but it's been fun to watch. Right. And we've come to a point now where I can't believe we were talking about this in a game where we're let's see love. I can't believe we've come to that point, but I think he had something at least on his side, and that was, injuries, right? So, he's had the thumb injury. Now it's the I think it's the abdomen right now. So I thought it was really nice to see him throw 2 touchdowns. I thought he was slinging the ball as best as he probably could with, the circumstances of his thumb. I thought he actually played pretty well, honestly. I do think there was a lot more issues with the offensive line. I felt like, the pressures that were coming, maybe he did hold on to the ball a little bit too long, but it wasn't where I was seeing. I mean, I haven't watched all 22, but I haven't seen like some of the really blown, like, wide open guys like I have seen in other weeks. I didn't really notice that as much. It felt like he was throwing within the system. He was throwing to guys that were actually like, taking shorter routes. He wasn't going for big plays the whole time. Now, granted, I think he was running for his life a little bit more, which was kind of weird. But your thoughts on Rodgers and his performance on Sunday night?
Gutsy. I just think that he's a tough guy, man. He gutted it out there. And I'm with you. I didn't think he looked that bad. Yeah, he had some wobblers, the thumb's gonna make that happen. And I thought there were some instances where he held the ball too long. I don't watch the all 22, so for all I know, it was perfect coverage and there's nobody open, or I don't know what it was, but
or maybe it was the opposite. Maybe everybody was open and we were.
It could have been. So so it could have been that too. But it felt like he was in the game and the team was competitive and they were down 13-0 right away. They didn't blink. They stayed within the game plan. They made sure to continue to hand the ball off, and he didn't. He had the 2 picks, one out at the face mask, the other one he got baited in, but I think he's trying to make some plays. Like, I'm not going to kill him because he's trying to get out there and go for it. But
I felt like this was his best game. I mean, like, I felt like not best game. Sorry. I mean, like, this was a better game. I felt like coming off of the week before, in the Titans game where I just felt like was just absolute dog crap.
Just jointed. Yeah.
Like you just came back you just played on Sunday night, Sunday afternoon against the Cowboys, played well. I'll give him maybe the break because it was a short week. I don't know. You were at home, so I don't know why you would play like that. But
both teams disadvantage, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, he just played like absolute dog shit. And then I felt like this game he came back and I felt like he had more, I don't know how injured his thumb was compared, from Thursday to Sunday night, but obviously he had more time to rest. But it felt like it was a better, overall night for him, in throwing wise, but he started to get to everybody in the offense, which was nice too. It felt like he was, distributing the ball really nicely.
Yeah, Tunyon got the ball a little bit. Was nice to see.
But again, here we are again, where now it was kind of a nice thing to see AJ Dillon play, really well. But like, again, we find a way to figure out to not give the Aaron Jones the ball. Like, granted, we finally used him in the passing game, and look what happened. He really can show you his talents. But like, I just really don't understand this, need to like split the carries. Maybe it was what they saw on the defense. I remember they said that the Eagles rush defense was like 20th or something, or 19th. And maybe they wanted the bulldozer and AJ Dillon. I don't know.
Well, I actually thought it was like, to me, it was AJ Dillon's best game of the year.
It was.
He may have had better stats on the games, but I felt like he looked more powerful, a little bit quicker, wasn't stuck in the mud so much. So I kind of understood that. I thought maybe it was because they had so much beef on the defensive front. They signed Ndamukong Suh and they brought in, Linval Joseph. So they got some guys up there that can really bring it down. So I wonder if that played into it. But, it's always a good thing when you incorporate, Aaron Jones more into the offense, because it's always going to be, the potential's there for some bigger plays to happen. So, overall offensively, I liked the game plan. I liked kind of what they went out there and did. And what I liked most, maybe it's a good segue, was when Aaron Rodgers went down and Jordan Love came in. They didn't skip a beat. They didn't play scared. They didn't nerf the play calling for him. They attacked the field, and it paid off right away when he hits Watson right over the middle, who, by the way, is just a cruise missile if he gets in the open field.
He's like Aaron Jones, like in the receiving game. Like, this guy is a playmaker. If you get him in the open field, this guy's gone.
Yeah, he dusted, and someone called him an angle eraser. I forget who it was on Twitter, but that I thought that was so true. Like, he was dead to rights by multiple guys, and he just went right around him. So, but I guess we can touch on the Jordan Love topic because it's a pretty big one here in town. I got to tell you, it's been a while since we saw him. Obviously, preseason is preseason, but even that's hard to judge because you're not playing with the ones. This was him in the game in a pressure situation where he had to deliver to keep the team in the game. I thought he looked poised. I thought he looked confident. I thought he looked like he belonged and played the part well. It's probably the most I've been impressed with him coming out of any game he's been a part of at this point. I know it was kind of a small sample size, but for them to have that much, and they scored twice, on those drives, and maybe a third if you get the ball back. But I thought it was encouraging, man. And I think it's obviously reinvigorated the conversation of, when do they move on to Love, or when should they move on to Love this year? you want to see more of that. So going forward, kind of what's your expectation, and more importantly, what were your thoughts on Jordan Love yesterday or 2 days ago?
So it was really interesting, and I want everybody to know because Fred couldn't make it tonight, but he was so happy to see him out there, and Fred was like, it's he's been always wanting him to kind of get out there, so it's great to see that this could maybe be the future. This was great to see that he had confidence. He had, I mean, everybody's has the gifts with him, sticking out his tongue and stuff like it. It felt like he was, at a calming pace.
Yeah.
With the fact that the game was kind of on the line, and it's like, you already got us one touchdown, and then you were driving again, and it's like, holy crap, this kid's like, ready. You give him a full, weapon, arsenal in everybody of, not being, and that's basically everybody was healthy. So you had everybody at your disposal. I mean, okay, sorry, not Romeo,
Not Dobbs,
but you had everybody for the most part, and you just felt like everything was easy. And now this is the biggest topic, right? Did he play the offense? Is this exactly what Matt LaFleur wanted? He runs his offense. He plays to every play that he was calling, and then he runs what he wants. Like, is this what we've been wanting Rodgers to do, and he just hasn't been doing it because he's stubborn, or he thinks he just knows better, or he just doesn't like the plays because it's just not the way he plays? Like, this was like, probably, I remember I joked about it in our text thread that, what was he saying? Oh, I'll tell you what he was saying. This is what I really want because this is what Rodgers doesn't do. Like, this is exactly what I've been waiting for to see. Like, you just running what I call, So your thoughts on LaFleur and his play calling?
Well, to answer your first question, it did feel like they were running just the offense. Like, he was hitting the back of his drop, and he was delivering to the read one or two, whoever was open, and getting the ball out on time and rhythm. And the guy was wide open. David made the comment in the comment section before about the middle of the field. I'm like, and I think I said it to you guys and other people. I'm like, oh my gosh, like, the middle of the field exists. That's what it feels like again.
Which is
to have
so
guys
weird, because
I know
I felt like Rodgers always feasted on the middle of the field, but go on.
He did early in his career, man.
I guess when you have Devontae, it's easy to do.
Well, it is, but
Jordy
and Cobb. If you're gonna have Christian Watson in the slot like that, there's not a lot of people that can cover him if he's going to be doing that.
I don't think there's a corner that has that kind of like catch up. I mean, maybe Patrick Surtain Jr. I don't know. I don't think there is one.
He's going to be a weapon, man. And I mean, I'm not to get too sidetracked here, but I am really encouraged by him and Dobbs going forward.
I'm telling you right now, he's in the slot, and you get it too in the Madden days. If I see single safety, I'm just sending him.
Just go.
Just go. And then you just throw it. Maybe he gets a pass interference call, or in my case, I think he's just going to burn anybody that's around him. But I don't know why this guy's not on more go routes, or the fact that we don't take more shots at him. He feels like a way faster version than MVS. I don't know why. I know MVS was fast in his own right, but like, I just feel like when I watch him, it doesn't even look close. And I know a lot of people are making this comparison. I saw all the Twitter stuff, but Randy in his prime, it's like almost like close to like identical, like just the body size, he just gets a little bit bulkier, like maybe like more NFL heavy. And this guy might take over. I don't know, but like, it just feels like this guy's speed is unmatched. And I love it.
It feels like he could be a real superstar in the league if he can continue to develop in Green Bay, can keep the quarterback play high. To go back to Love, like, I think you're right. I think we saw a little bit of what could be the future. There was a comment about it being prevent D right here from Brett. I definitely keeping that in mind. Philly was back, but also at the same time, it's like, the throws he did make were beautiful. The one that got dropped by Aaron Jones, I mean, that was a dart back shoulder right here. I don't think Aaron Jones even think that it was going to come to him, and that's why he ended up not catching it. But there was enough there.
We were down a touchdown. They stopped playing prevent defense when they realized, oh shit, we actually kind of have to play defense. So I don't. Well, maybe that first drive it was, but
even for Watson to have all those DBs behind him and still outrun everybody, it's just even more impressive for what he's able to do. But going forward, I know Rodgers, it was said today, you know, his scans came back well. He's going to probably play against the Bears. I think I've said on the show, or at least to you guys in private, that I think like my ideal or what I think was going to happen, he was going to play through the Bears game, right? And depending on what was going on, this is weeks ago, that they would shut him down going into the bye with a thumb or whatever, and then Jordan Love would start the rest of the season. That said, part of me still thinks that Aaron Rodgers is going to be like, no, I'm playing. I don't care what the record is. I'm going to come out there and do it. So is Robert Griffin III right? Does anybody in the Packers organization have the gonads to go to him? Like, dude, we're shutting you down. Like, we need to see Jordan Love, because they should. And, you know, I love Aaron Rodgers. I think a lot of people are going to go through what I went through with Brett Favre when he was on the outs and we didn't know what we had in Rodgers.
Right.
Like,
yeah. You're loyal.
I was the same guy. He's got to play, can't be the other guy, whatever. I think because I went through that, now I'm just like, all right, I
this is the one case you have nothing to play for. 2% chance. 2% chance. Like, I'm sorry. The Commanders have the tiebreaker on you. The Giants have the tiebreaker on you.
Right.
You know, whoever. I mean, I can't.
Yeah, you lost those games. You have no shot. You're not making the playoffs.
Hell, have the tiebreaker on you.
It's not happening.
Yeah. So it's like, what are we doing here? Like, I mean, unless you're retiring and this is like your going out party. Like, hey, I'm going to go down with the ship. You know, I'm going to play. Like, I love the toughness. Fine. If you've said it, you said all the right things. Now just, you know, take the injury and sit it out.
Well, I think so. And I think he should recognize that. But also, if he continues to play, to me, that tells me that, well, Aaron Rodgers definitely is going to be back here next year, you know, and they're counting on it. Or if not, they're looking at the future. I think the smart play here is to shut him down. And I'm not even arguing against him coming back next year. You and I were on this before we went on air here, and we're talking about, hey, if he comes back and they run it back kind of with some of this progress and maybe a new defensive scheme and coordinator, you know, they can run it back. I'll be fine with Jordan Love too. But I think that the big news is, or the big takeaway is, that there's some hope to be had on this team. It's just my fear is that they win a couple of these games down the stretch here. They end up winning 7 games. Now you're picking 17, 18, 19. Who cares?
Whoa,
you got a shot at
17, 18? No, they're not picking 17, 18. No way.
If they win 7, 8 games? Not now. I'm saying if they were to mess around and win a bunch of games, that's where you could end up. Right now,
because aren't we have 4 games, right? We have
right now wins. We hold the number 8 pick. Frankly, I hope
7 worse teams than us.
Believe it or not, yeah, I know. We had the number 8 pick.
I thought we were that bad. Honestly, I thought we were that bad. Okay,
there's some teams struggling. Yeah,
holy crap, man! Man, get better teams.
Well, and that's the thing is, like, I would love it to be a top 5 pick, but I just have this feeling, man, they're going to go out and win a couple of these games here, and we're going to pick like 15.
Which is weird because like 3 weeks ago, we're like, I don't think there's a game that we win again. Like, I mean,
still don't think.
Yeah,
I don't think either. But
like, if Fields is healthy and ready to go, like, are you really thinking the Bears? This is okay. So, full disclosure here on Rodgers. You really want to go into Chicago half healthy, whatever you are, 70%, 80%, whatever the hell you are right at this moment. No defense that just let Jalen Hurts run 150 yards, whatever the hell he wanted. And then this guy ran, I think, 200 some yards like 3 weeks ago and just got like the NFL record or whatever. You think you're going to stop him? And then your whole I own the Bears thing in Chicago, you're going to get destroyed. But Jordan Love take that beat.
Well, think about from Rodgers' perspective. He loves the game. He loves the rivals. He wants to play it. It might be the last time he can ever go into Chicago and throw a touchdown against the Bears. He's probably thinking about that. I get it. I get why he wants to play.
It's not though. He has a contract. He is available for year 2. He is under contract for next year. So there is unless he has retirement fully on his like mind.
He might. I expect him to be the starter next year.
Hey, in the chat, if you watch Pat McAfee today, what did he say about retirement today? I didn't watch Pat McAfee today because I work. But if you watch Pat McAfee, please put it in the comments. Iowa Joe, you're usually our number 1 guy. But if he's okay, and here's how I see it too. And let's just talk about this because we have plenty of time. 2023 roster with Rodgers, right? And this is based on Are we chalking up that he's playing this week? Is that
my money would be he's playing. It sounds like he's
all
going
right?
to
So
play.
he plays
unless it's a
this week.
setback.
Let's just say win or lose, whatever. He goes into the bye week. So clearly they're not letting Jordan Love play out the season, right? Because he gets healthy, right? If he plays this week and he doesn't get hurt, then he gets a whole week off to get healthy. That's what he said. He needed a week off, right? I don't know how that works. Like know that your thumb is going to be fine after a week. Like what the hell? But not thumb, but he also has his oblique too, right? So let's just break down this roster. What did we say? Maybe Lazard is gone. I think in my opinion, I think he takes money and he leaves. I think
we don't have any money to spend. We have no money to spend.
Yeah, we don't have exactly.
I don't think he's gonna sign another little wimpy 1 year.
Right. I think the Packers would like to get him at a bargain, but I don't. But
also,
he's gonna say that.
I don't think he's done jack shit this year, and he's not exactly playing himself.
So maybe his price tag is not as high. So maybe
they
say, "Oh, you can test free agency, come back if you don't get the offer you want. Here's ours," and maybe he does come back. I don't know.
Yeah.
Cobb, does he stay or return? What's your thoughts?
I don't know. Is he under contract?
Well, no, I don't think he is. I think he's just a 1 year deal. Or sorry, I think he's on the last year of his deal. I think it was just a 2 year deal when they got him on the trader.
I want to say they move on from. I could see him bringing him back really cheap. He already took a pay cut to stay here this year, but they're going to have to probably sign another veteran somehow. Because I think
if Rodgers is back, I think they bring him on basically a bag of chips deal.
I could see it.
If he still wants to play, maybe he retires. I don't know. We will see.
Well, Rodgers should tell him, I'll give you a gift of $10 million in the offseason for your birthday. Or
I'll Venmo you. I'll Venmo you $10 million.
He's got enough money for it.
So do they restructure Jones? That's the question. Because he gets paid a boatload.
So coming into the season, I thought like my perception was I could see the Packers moving on from Jones after this season. Now that this season has mostly elapsed, I don't think there's any way they could move on from Jones because he is such a valuable piece of this team.
Regardless if you have Rodgers or Love.
Well, exactly. And he still looks really good. He's still really explosive. I would do whatever I can to restructure him and keep him here. And I will tell you, he loves being here. He loves Green Bay, so I don't think he wants to go.
I don't even know if this is really like breaking news, but I think he's just scratching the surface. I think Jordan Love in the offense that Matt LaFleur runs with no, tomfoolery at the line. He runs the offense with Aaron Jones the way that he's supposed to. I think he's Christian McCaffrey. And I've been saying this for weeks, but I think Aaron Jones is just scratching the surface as a running back. I know he's getting older, but he's only 26.
That was my point. I'm like, by the time he's going to age out and the possibility is going to be gone. But I agree with you, dude.
You get maybe 2 more years out of him. He's 28. And then you part ways. 29, you part ways. Whatever it is. Maybe you win a Super Bowl with Jordan Love. I don't know.
It's kind of a shame. Like there wasn't like one season where he was the bona fide RB1 in the NFL because I think he's good. He's good. Like
his 20
overall,
touchdown year.
Okay, he scored a bunch of touchdowns, but he did the rushing title.
Yeah. Well,
do you care how much Jamal
title.
Williams has like 15 touchdowns? Do you care? Does anybody care? No, nobody cares. Nobody cares.
You'd want him on your fantasy team.
Well, yeah, but I'm saying like
Matt
I think
a dog shit fantasy team.
I do. I think he's good enough to have like the rushing title, and then he caught another 50 passes for 600 yards. Like, I think he's that good of a player. Unfortunately, he plays for the Packers. They don't give the ball.
He is lightning in a bottle. Like that is, and I think it's a beautiful combo with him and AJ Dillon. I don't think AJ Dillon
when it works.
Right now is a single back. Like he's your Derrick Henry. I don't see that unless he change. Like Eagles game was a nice change. I did like what I saw. From him. He's getting. I feel like you said, he's running behind his pads. He feels like he's not just like digging into the dirt and just like. I felt like he was actually looking at the holes and actually making cuts, which was really nice to see. But I do think. Him and Aaron Jones together, it's just way too beautiful of a thing where you can easily split them up or you just give more, obviously, to Aaron Jones and you run it back, regardless if it's Rodgers or, Jordan Love, and you take that into the future. And I honestly, 2 more years with Aaron Jones, I think we stay. Moving on. Robert Tonyan. I think he's gone. Sorry, Fred. I know this hurts you a lot, but I think he's gone. I think we've seen as much as we've seen out of him. I'm not buying it unless he comes back for a bag of chips. Again, I don't even know why you do that. It's just a waste of a roster spot. But
I frankly, I think the entire tight end group needs a reset. I think
I
they
honestly
should
do
just
too.
flush the toilet, get rid of everybody, and start over. I like Mercedes Lewis, but he's going to retire. He's just a tackle.
Just chasing longevity stats anyway right now. And I get it. What he does for the team is, awesome. He's a great locker room guy. He's a great blocker. But at what point are we really
okay, answer me this question. What has Josiah DeGuara ever done? And why was he never I'm not even mad at him, but I feel like they drafted him intentionally and then never did anything with him at all.
Yeah,
at all.
Hey, 3rd round pick again, everybody. 3rd round pick.
And then Tyler Davis is apparently a practice superhero, and that's about it. So I just to me, get rid of all of them and start over.
Yeah, I agree. Start over with that unit, and I think you have something going there. So basically what I wanted to do with this little, scenario was just to say, I think this team still is good, but I do think it needs a little bit of a makeup on defense, obviously, hence the coordinator. But I think you still have a lot of great pieces there in Gary and Clark and Ja. But you have to do some. I think Amos is gone, like we've said. I don't think he stays, but maybe they get him at a discount. Probably not. But again, we have just no money. So
we have no money. And here's the thing about the defense, dude, is I'm really sick and tired of all the money that gets spent on it, all the draft picks that get spent on it. It's and then the results are always the same or worse. So frankly, I'm just over that entire side of the ball. And what they need to do is need to load up on offense and go the other way now.
Hey, it's whatever. Stop you, but you ain't stopping us.
We'll score 40 a game, and we're probably going to give up 30 a game, but we'll win most of them. And it's just I don't know what else to do, but I think that you've done enough over there, whether it's a new coach coming in and unlocking that and getting some more spunk back. But to me, it's if you got to go somewhere, go on the offense, man, and try to get this thing going.
All right.
But that's just me being a salty Packer fan who just, it's I'm just so disenfranchised by the defense. They were supposed to be the saviors this year.
And
they've been so bad.
It's been so weird with this team because every week, every Sunday, I'm always just all right, guys, I believe we're going to win this game. And then I just remember, I'm oh, wait, we're the Green Bay Packers and we just don't know how to close a game, or we just don't know how to win a game. And it's just
how are you?
Really?
Okay.
We've come to this point.
Let me ask you this. We and I kind of touched on it, but how are you feeling about the rest of the season? We basically have to play, 5 more games with the bye? How are you going into each game? What are your expectations? Do you want them to win? Are you I just want them how are you feeling about it? I think it's such a weird thing for all of us right now. We're all trying to process this exact thing.
I'm not going to lie to you. On Sunday night, I had the option to watch the Bucks or the Packers. I watched the Packers. I did choose the Packers, but I was kind of hey, if this turn, which it started to
when it was 14-0, I was Call of Duty is sounding kind of good right about now.
Yeah, I was I might go put the Bucks game on and play a little Dudes and kind of just have Gamecast on for the Packers, just something. And then obviously Rodgers has a drive and we score. I'm oh, okay, so you're not just gonna fold, okay?
Yeah.
So we have the Bears. I'm gonna tune in. I hate the freaking Bears, right? We all hate them, and I want to beat that team. If anything, I would sacrifice 1 or 2 spots in the draft just so I make sure we go undefeated against the Bears and then lose out, it's one thing to lose against the Lions and, whatever. It's kind of hey, look, you're finally figuring out what football is. Great. But the Vikings, that's always going to be their Super Bowl against us. So whatever, screw them. They ain't winning a Super Bowl. So I do think you have to beat the Bears. So after that, and it's the bye week. And what do we have after the bye? Who's our first game after the bye?
Hit
me, baby, one more time.
Not Miami. It's not the Lions or the Vikes. Who's the other one? I forget. It's somebody. Who's got
the opponent? I don't have the schedule.
Maybe it is the Lions. I don't know. Well, I'm looking it up right now. Schedule.
Oh, look who decided to show up. Look who decided. I thought you.
Oh, the Rams. The Rams. That's why I forgot about that.
Oh
the
yeah,
Rams.
I'm going to the game. I'm going to the damn game. It's good to see you, Mike. How are you doing over there? How about them Cowboys?
He's feeling a lot better than us.
All right, he is. Yeah. So Rams game, which is how the mighty
They
have fallen.
suck. We're gonna probably win that game.
That's what I'm saying. We're gonna win against the Bears. We're gonna win against the Rams, and then
dude. I'm telling you, like they're gonna mess around and win.
Play against some backup,
and then they're gonna play. They're gonna play the Vikings third stringers because they're resting for the playoffs.
We're gonna go
7-10.
7-10. Yeah, we're gonna go 7-10 and have
I'll be so mad.
19th or 18th pick.
Here's the thing. Okay, here's how I'm looking at it though. Two things. One, either I hope Rodgers plays the rest of the season and we lose most of the games, or two, if Jordan Love comes in, I've battled with this because I've most of the time said put Love in but lose the games. I'm like, I don't think if Jordan Love plays, I can want losses because the whole point of him playing,
you can still have him succeed and still get
but he's the QB.
It's like what I do with my betting. I pick a lot of the teams to cover when they.
But
play
you
the
want
Packers,
him to win them because you want.
to...
The problem is, so it's like if Jordan Love plays, like I'm like I want them to win the game. I think at that point, it's like because I want him to have the confidence and to see the game through. I don't think it works where it's like, well, yeah, I had a pretty good game, but we still lost. Like, I don't think they feel that way. Maybe they do, but in a perfect world,
no matter what, when Love is in, it is a complete evaluation process, right? So when he's in, win or loss, they know what they've seen from him for 60 minutes, and that's what they get, and that's what they're going to put in their, in their filing cabinet, and they move on to the next game, and they say, okay, we've got X amount of games. This dude played in Matt LaFleur's offense, and now we got to make the biggest decision, and that's, are we going to pick his 5th-year option up? Are we going to go draft a, top 10 pick? Whatever it is, top 15 pick, whatever it is. So I think you're in a really peculiar position right now as the Green Bay Packers because I don't know. I think Jordan Love, if he goes into games, I think he has a good chance of winning because he actually runs the offense.
That's what I'm saying, dude. It's like it's not put Love in and we'll just lose 5 games. Like I don't think so. If you look at those games, it's like the Rams are down bad.
Rodgers.
The Rams are down bad. The Bears are punting on the season. They got guys all up and down IR. And then it's like they didn't get into the Lions. That's a question one, but the Vikings might just mail it in because they got to rest for their playoff game. And Dolphins, I don't know. I could see him winning 3 of these, man. I could see him finishing
such a weird thing.
7-10, man.
It's like the Pittsburgh Steelers were like, we've never had a losing season. We've always gone 8-8. Well, great. 8-8 didn't get you shit. It didn't get you a good draft pick, and it didn't get you in the playoffs. You know, like I feel like we're in that same situation now. We're like the Steelers.
Yeah, we are. But it's weird as a fan.
Enough to get good players, but we're not good enough to get in the playoffs.
I know, and it's like even when we have the draft picks, like you're never bad enough to get that like apex player. You're always just right on the outside of it.
Yeah,
but here's the other thing: even if we ended up with like the 7th or 5th pick, do you trust the Packers with that pick?
No,
I don't. I can't say I do.
They'll take this no-name kid from Idaho, defensive line.
I'd stress hard. That'd be a long 3 months lead up. Can you imagine in my dad's house, my mom and dad's house, you and I, and they pick some guy?
I don't even know if I'd show up. I honestly,
made sick to my stomach.
Tradition just because I know we would fuck up and it would be the worst night. Like the mood would be so like
they'll overthink it. They'll overthink it.
They won't overthink it. They were thinking perfectly since like the combine. They knew who they were going to take. Then they're just going to go run that card up to the guy and say, we're taking defense. But,
yeah. Oh, my God.
Oh, my God.
We'll cross that bridge when we get there.
So if anybody has anything they want to add, obviously throw it in the chat. We have a few more minutes here. The Bears. So we have the Bears. It's, it's the opponent week. We don't know if Justin Fields is, I feel like he's going to play. He was pretty close last week. So I feel like, hey, it's the Packers. It's home game. You just ran rampant at Chicago last time you were out here. Like, why don't you just play this game? And I feel like the Bears are like close in winning, but they just lost Darnell Mooney. Lost him.
And Eddie Jackson's out.
And Eddie Jackson is out too. So I don't know. I know that Aaron Rodgers, what if Aaron Rodgers just goes out there starts, gets hurt like first quarter, second quarter, and then it's the J Love show moving forward.
Well,
I don't know.
I think it's possible. I mean, I don't think when Rodgers was out there,
are we disgraceful? We're just talking like this. Like this is like we gave so much to Aaron Rodgers, and this is how we're gonna just repay him like this.
well, it's not. It's just it's being realistic, man. It's just you and I are realists.
No. I'm realistic. You and Fred are absolutely these homers that just never.
When it comes to okay, I picked the lose. Don't start with that.
You did. You did.
but I do. I don't know. I could see it happening. I think he, one or two hard hits and he's out of the game, and Jordan Love comes in. But the Bears, dude, are limping into this game, maybe worse than the Packers are. Like 3 weeks ago when they were healthy and Justin Fields is running all everybody, I would have said this is absolutely a loss for the Packers. Couple weeks later, man, they're extra banged up. Even if Justin Fields plays, I don't think they're going to see a 100% version of him. He's going to be banged up and a little, maybe not as apt to run and scramble.
Dude, you could literally have Keanu Reeves replacements on offense, and they'd still beat this defense. I don't know what this defense is going to stop, and I don't know. Yeah,
the Packers
have all these the Packers defense. I just don't get where this defense. Like, I feel bad for Ja. I feel bad for like Kenny Clark.
At least we have some guys out there. At least we have some guys out there. The offense to me is where I think the Packers offense could march up and down the field on the Bears defense at this point. They've traded away Robert Quinn. Eddie Jackson's out. They already got rid of. They traded Roquan Smith is gone. All their guys are gone. So it's like this all of a sudden lines up to be a game that the Packers could probably go in there.
Which and win maybe goes and throws like 4 TDs or something.
Yeah, I'm saying it'll be the coming out party just 10 weeks too late.
Real quick before we do our predictions.
Oh, hold on. This comment right here. Yes, please put Toure in the game. I'm sick.
He was already in.
I know he's in, but give him all the snaps.
I know, but Toure was in the lineup and running routes in the first quarter. Like they really did give him the start.
But get him the ball.
But I don't know. But then later in the game, I saw Sammy out there. I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah, why is no more number 11.
Yeah, we don't. Yeah, we want 83. Toure. Hooray! Right?
Hooray, Toure! Hooray for Toure!
Yeah, see, there we go. Start that up. Sure, yeah. All right. Real quick, big topic that's going to happen, and it's outside the Packers. But Deshaun Watson comes back this week.
Oh boy!
Your thoughts?
Oh boy! What a journey. I don't even know if we want to call it that for him to come out. And
let's not call it a journey.
It's not really a journey. It's a backwards journey, a regressive journey. It's not a good journey whatsoever. But I feel like we're in a simulation because he comes back and he's going to play against the Texans in the first game. He comes back after his suspension. It's almost like they intentionally did that so they could, hype the game up for something. But I did read that some of the women that were his accusers are going to be at the game.
Oh, what is that?
I don't know.
I mean, weird, we're gonna haunt you.
Yeah, they're probably gonna make him uncomfortable.
Like, what are they gonna get? Like first row seats and blast him? I don't know.
Why not? Make him uncomfortable. If he only paid for it in NFL suspensions, I think he deserves a little razzing from the sidelines from anybody.
I don't know if I like that one. That's kind of that's just dirty.
Well, I don't know.
I mean, I feel obviously all the love and support towards them because they went through this traumatic experience, but is that really what you want to do? You want to see this guy earn his play a game on a Sunday
Here's
night
the thing.
And you want to see him do that?
Well, you and I think we have problems because we're like, oh, do we cheer for Aaron Rodgers or do we hope that he sits or starts? And meanwhile, the Browns fans have to decide whether they have to choose and cheer for Deshaun Watson or not. So I think, I'll take our problems over their problems.
I'm not going to lie. Jacoby Brissett didn't look
They
horrible.
look pretty good.
I'm saying this guy got you 11 weeks and, I don't even know what the record is. It's above 500, is it not?
When Rodgers, I think it is.
No,
when
not Rodgers. No, Brissett, Browns.
Yeah, no.
Browns.
Well, listen to me. I'm saying when Rodgers retires, I'll bring Brissett in as a backup for Jordan Love because I'd like him. He's good.
Oh,
a good veteran backup.
Oh,
which we never have. It's always a development
Yeah,
guy.
I was always looking for Ryan Fitzpatrick, but now that he's
Yeah.
on like,
Yeah.
television. Oh, that's very interesting.
Assuming he's even out there. I don't know. He could be locked up with the
He
Browns for a
probably
while.
gets a lot of money. He might be like the prize backup.
Think about that. If Rodgers if they move on from him or he retires and loves the guy, like they're going to have to find a new backup. And
They'll
whether it's
call
a veteran,
Blake Bortles somehow, they'll be like, "Hey, you want to retire?" Like, why?
Yeah, right.
Like, I've always said, if you're going to be a Green Bay Packer fan, expect the unexpected because you never get what you want. I'll tell you this right now. The last time anything happened, maybe it was Clinton Dix getting drafted. Me and Matt were sitting there watching the draft.
The one time what we wanted came true.
And then I think we were like, wait, we got Eddie Lacy because we thought we were going to get him in the first round or whatever round it was. And then we got him in the second. And I'm like,
best draft ever at the time.
Yeah, it really was the best draft ever. So like, I feel like there's never been a guy that we're like, oh yeah, we should go get this guy. And then we got him, right? And free agent wise too, like, oh, they've really had some talks with this, blah, blah, blah guy. Oh, wait, that's right. They just were in the conversation. They didn't really do anything. So I think as a Packer fan, you have to do that. Bears, Packers, your prediction. Let's go.
I'm sticking to my guns. I think the Packers come out and are competitive in this game. I think that like I said before, the Bears are really, really banged up. And even if Justin Fields plays, he's not going to be the Justin Fields that was running all over everybody. He very well may be. The Packers defense is that bad this year that even they could have a 50% Justin Fields run for 100 some yards on him. I wouldn't put it past him whatsoever. But it just feels like the last few weeks, maybe sans the Titans game, that the Packers offense is kind of figuring some stuff out. So I think they're going to be able to do enough to win this game. I think that it'll still be close, but I'm going to go ahead and pick Green Bay 28, Bears 21. I need to win by touchdown.
Such a homer pick,
It's not. The Bears aren't that good right now. I'm
kidding.
It's a coin flip.
Fred would kill me if I picked against the Packers. So yeah. I am definitely not picking us to lose against the Bears because it's the goddamn Bears. I hate the Bears. Let's just let's beat them. I think we win regardless if it's Love or Rodgers in the game.
I agree.
And honestly, there's a part of me that's just like, you just see what Rodgers can do, and then maybe you just like, you do one of these and you just, I mean, nobody has the balls to do that. Yeah. What?
You're talking about Rodgers or Love?
I'm saying they say Rodgers sit down, Love go in, but I'm like, no one has the balls to say that.
No, they don't. They don't.
They're all scared of Rodgers. So, my prediction, like you said, there's nobody left on this defense. So I will go a little higher. Let's see here.
I toyed at 31. I thought about it, but I'm not there yet.
You toyed with what?
I was going to say 31-21, but I said 28-21.
I know. Like, it's just like, how do you – I just can't find a way to give them 30 points right now. It seems like it's so impossible for them to get it. So
it's true.
I will – what'd you say, 28-21?
I said 28-21, yep.
Oh, okay. I'll go with 28-17. Packers win.
All right, that sounds reasonable.
I think Justin Fields will account for 14 points himself. I think the defense will find a way to just let him run rampant. But oh man, now that I think about it, I'm like, this guy could go off even more. And
you just don't know.
Yeah, we don't know. But
I would like to think the defense is going to come out and be like, hey, we got embarrassed last week. We can't do that again. Then again, with these guys, I don't know. I can't even say that.
Anything you want to tell the fans?
Me?
Yeah, you. Like, no one else is here. It's just me and you.
Oh, being the guy over here. I don't know, man. I just, it's the last, we're about to enter the last month of the season. This is it. Like, then we're going to go into the long dark, and then we're talking about mock drafts and draft picks and that stuff. So despite the fact the Packers are a 4-win team, try to find something about each game that you can be excited about or hopeful coming out of. You know what I mean? Just, I think small stuff like that, because it's so easy to get just checked out of these games, and we spend so long in the off season, man, debating things to get to the season. So enjoy it. I know it might not be the best product, but hey, at least we got someone to cheer for, so there could be worse things.
Wise words from a guy with a flag in the back as a background. So
from Walmart.
From Walmart. Yeah. Yeah, I
Sold
echo
out.
those same sentiments. Enjoy these moments that you have with Rodgers. I know we're always talking about love and all this, and we're tired of the bullshit from Rodgers and all the antics and all this stuff. But remember that, I think someone said it earlier in the comments. It's like this guy gave us love of this team for another 16 and 17 years. Let's give him what he deserves for whatever time he has remaining. He's still my quarterback. I know love probably makes way more sense and, for the offense and everything, but my love for him is always going to be there on the field. I don't, really care about his off-field stuff, but
Agreed.
this guy is the reason I still absolutely love this team. And I have so many different memorabilia things of Aaron Rodgers that he will still be the greatest quarterback that I have ever seen throw the ball. So, I think you guys should all enjoy that. Thank you guys so much for joining us each and every week. I won't be here next week. I go back to my weird schedule, but Matt and Fred should probably be here, and I'm sure he's ramping up to talk about the Bears because he knows he hates the Bears just as much as we do. And hopefully we're talking about a victory against them. But again, join us again next week at 6 on Tuesdays. But until then, enjoy the week, enjoy the weekend, enjoy the Bears and Packers in Chicago on Soldier Field, the worst field in the world. And we'll see you next time.
God, forgot about that. Go Pack, go.
Yeah, go Pack.
No injuries.
I'm Sanjay, that's Matt. We'll see you next time. Go Pack, go.